Joining me now is the immigration lawyer Harjap Singh Bangal and also Mike Neville, the former head of the Central Forensic Image Team at the Metropolitan Police. Thank you both very much for joining me. Why don't I start with you, Mike, and just ask you what you think is going to unfold next? Obviously, this is a man with very distinctive injuries indeed, not somebody who's going to find it easy to escape scrutiny, is he, for very long?
Yeah, exactly, Vanessa. And my expertise was finding people in CCTV. What surprises me here is that we've seen an image of him on the southbound Victoria line. I can't understand why they haven't got images of him leaving the tube station. The tube is one of the best CCTV covered areas of the country. And therefore, and there's cameras all the way along the platform and at the entrances and exits. So, we know the southbound Victoria line goes to Brixton. So where is he? Where's he gone? Where's he got out? Because of course London's got an enormous amount of CCTV. The Met can deploy what they call LFR, which is live facial recognition. But to be honest, with this, the suspect's face being so disfigured, no matter what kind of mask he wore or whatever, he will be picked out. So unless he's gone to ground and holed up in some flat or something, without using any mobile or digital device which he can be tracked on, he will be found very soon, I imagine.
Maybe bring Harjap into the conversation. Now, this man, Harjap, was convicted of a sexual offence in 2018. He had his a plea for asylum refused twice. He arrived here illegally from Afghanistan in the back of a lorry. And then a priest intervened to say he's undergone a very dramatic Christian conversion. He's now a man of faith. He's not likely to offend again. You know, this reformed, exemplary character really should be given asylum and be allowed to stay, and he was allowed to stay.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing new. We've discussed this many times on this show before, that in the last 14 years, this government is failing to remove failed asylum seekers. The rate of removals under Labour, if we look at the figures, was about 60,000 people removed in 2009 and 2010. However, compare that to 2022, when only 3,000 enforced removals were there, and that figure has been slowly dropping. Even before Brexit, it was only till about 5,000. So the fact is that he should have been removed, but he's been allowed to try again. The fact that he didn't get a custodial sentence for more than a year, that allowed him to escape deportation. However, he still could have been deported by the Home Office. In their wisdom, they decided to not deport him. And then he brought a new fresh claim under new circumstances, and he was then granted asylum over a number of years. We need to mention that, he had 2 failed claims, and then obviously he converted to Christianity, and then put a new claim in with all of the evidence, and the government accepted it.
Harjap, I think people might have assumed that if you apply for asylum and you don't get it, and the answer is no, you're not getting it, it's refused, you'd have to leave the country. You've just used the word deportation. I think people might have assumed that a no means no, you can't stay. We say no, you've asked, we've refused. You've got to go. You've got to go now, like by Monday or by next week, or, you've got 2 months to leave or something like that. So how does this one individual who does have a conviction in 2018, how does he get to apply not once and be refused, not twice and be refused, but 3 times, and then the 3rd time be accepted? I think people would be astounded he's even in this country to have the chance to apply 3 times.
Well, that is thanks to the Home Office that's broken. And we often discuss this as well, Vanessa, on this show over the past few years, that the Home Office, every year there's a Select Affairs Committee report for at least the past 10 years, which says the Home Office is broken. It's not fit to do the job that it's asked to do. And when you have a broken machinery, it will not produce a good product. Now, ideally, the public is right. When someone's refused asylum, they should either leave voluntarily, or if they don't, then they should be removed. And that should have happened here, but it hasn't happened. And therefore, what's happened is there's failings in the Home Office, which under this government we know has deteriorated in whatever it touches. And Mike might be able to back me up on this, whether it's policing, whether it's prisons, whether it's anything that the Home Office touches, whether it's the passport units. We remember all them big queues for passports and the backlogs and the holidays. Whatever the Home Office touches, it breaks. That's the situation that we're at. We cannot expect this to function well at all, when we have the MPs and the people who are inside the Home Office telling us every year This is not going to do its job. We need to knock it down and build a new one. Yet there's no infrastructure, no input in the Home Office. And instead, the Conservative MPs today, I'm really surprised they're about and, trying to dog whistle and they're trying to blame everyone else. But apart from themselves, they've been there for 14 years. They've allowed the situation to happen, whether it's the cuts in the policing or the Home Office staff or the border staff or the lack of processing centres abroad. We found out yesterday that Italy have just signed a deal to have a processing centre in its neighbouring country, Albania. The UK was offered the same in 2021 by France. We turned it down. We actually turned it down. We said, no, we don't want to.
Tell me, though, Harjab, what's meant to happen. So ideally, of course, Azidi wouldn't have arrived at all illegally in the back of a lorry. OK, so that wouldn't have happened. But let's assume he is here. And let's assume as an illegal arrival on British soil, he makes an application to stay. And for whatever reason, it is turned down. Ideally, if the system is not broken, what's meant to happen next? What's supposed to happen?
Well, until your claim is decided, you should be signing on at a police station or at a local immigration centre, reporting centre, maybe perhaps once a month. That's in order for the immigration to keep an eye on somebody. Now, when your claim's refused and your appeals are refused, then what should happen is that you should be detained and you should be sent back, or you should be kept in a detention centre pending your removal. Now, if for some reason you can't be sent back to your country, like say there's a war-torn country, like there are many around the world at the moment, and it's impossible to send people back, then there should be some sort of arrangement to give you either temporary stay here or some sort of accommodation where you can be observed. That hasn't happened. And, this person's obviously been committed a sexual offence as well. There was another opportunity to detain that person then as well, this person then. That obviously hasn't happened. There was a chance to sentence this person to a year or more and put an automatic deportation order on him. That hasn't happened. He hasn't been stopped or detained or attempted to be removed. And therefore, he's been allowed to apply again and present fresh circumstances.
Let me bring Mike into this because we're going to run out of time. Mike, this kind of litany of mistakes and broken structure, something's not working, it's not fit for purpose, this is not happening. We've got somebody illegal who's refused not once, not twice, commits an offence, is convicted of it and still is not convicted, is not sent home, is not detained, all the things that Harjab has just outlined. Do you agree with Harjab that the system is broken, it's not functioning? That's why this attack happened, because this man was allowed to stay in this country and quite clearly should not have been allowed to. He shouldn't have been here. So he shouldn't have been able to show up in Clapham and do that, should he?
He's absolutely correct. Yes, he shouldn't have been here. And as has been noted, it's just another example of broken Britain where nothing seems to work. The public rely on the government to protect them. And quite frankly, we've got enough of our own criminals and sex offenders without allowing others to come here. And it's quite incredible, isn't it, that somebody can come here illegally in the back of a lorry and then just stay around. Why wasn't he put in a camp or something, in some secure accommodation at that time? Because he's entered illegally. People will be amazed, but they wander through their town centre and there'll be another hotel taken over, full of similar people who we have no idea what their background is, what crime they will commit. And the public, frankly, deserve better than this.
And the police often I have to leave it there, but I can't imagine anybody really arguing with what you've just said. The public most certainly deserve better than this. And that poor woman in hospital with life-changing injuries, so desperately ill that she's still sedated even now, she deserved better than this, didn't she? This is really, really a dreadful story. And thank you both very much indeed for analysing it for us.